You nervous?
Oh, no, I can't call it. I feel calm.
Yeah.
I just woke up, so I feel real relaxed.
Oh, yeah. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like sometimes sometimes I'd have like 3 guests or 3 clients in a row straight into a podcast.
Man.
So like there's times like I'd have a guest show up like while I'm still training somebody. So I come in here and I'm all like right into it and I'm all fucking worked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate that shit. So I've always tried to give myself at least like
30 minutes
or like an hour so I can kind of clean up and get everything ready and breathe for a second and just kind of chill.
Yeah.
Get my blood pressure down.
I could kind of relate to that. Like training and then going into like a phone call or something that somebody that you never talked to before.
Yeah.
If it's like right into that, like I've experienced that, so I know what that feels like.
They're probably like, what the hell is wrong with this dude?
Yeah.
He's
just
fucking
fired up.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, it's been nonstop since like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bring in guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if you're ready to hear some stories, if that is for you, check it out, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but you need to jump on board today. Yeah, got to hit him with that.
Yeah.
A threat.
Mm-hmm.
But no, show some support, show some love. And without further ado, I would love to introduce our guest today, Mr. Wesley Smith.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for applauding with me.
Yes, sir. Got to applaud for yourself, even if nobody claps.
Exactly, man. Sometimes we're our only one cheering us on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on here.
We've been talking about this for a while.
We have.
Yeah, so a little bit backstory on Wesley. Honestly, I just started to get to know you a few months ago. And, I think I've seen you around, maybe in pictures and stuff like that from other brands or whatever the case.
Yep.
Social media, of course. And then, you started working with Arsenio, Fortitude Fitness out of here.
Yep.
And we had some conversation, just kind of casual along the way.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, this dude's dope as fuck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, we got to get you on the show.
Yeah.
I want to hear your story.
Yep.
And I know you got one.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, dude. So real quick, tell us what it is that you do. What do you do in life today?
Okay. I'm currently a fitness coach. So I say fitness coach because I have a couple different titles. So I'm a personal trainer, so I do private training sessions. I'm also a group exercise instructor where I do and host group sessions in the morning times.
Yeah.
I also do online fitness coaching where I have an app where I build out personalized fitness programs and meal plans that's, within a 7-day period. The meal plan is interchangeable within my service. So personalized fitness training, a meal plan regimen provided, and I would incorporate that all as a fitness coach. I've been doing this since about 2017.
Okay.
Yep.
That's about the time I started training.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, I started working with clients.
Yep, I started in 2017. I really started, so I'm an alumni of MTSU. I enrolled at MTSU in 2015 and graduated in 2019. So I was able to finish within those 4 years.
Yeah.
You got to give it up to the people that finished within the 4 years, right?
I was crazy I didn't see you on campus.
Because
we're both exercise science, right?
Did you have a mohawk?
Yeah, I had the mohawk.
I seen you, Joe. I never forget a face. I feel like I seen you if you say you.
Maybe that's where I recognize you from then.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because exercise science building small.
It is.
And I graduated like 2019, 2020.
Man, we know all the same professors.
Yeah.
Yep, Mr. Clark and Caputo and Farley.
Mr. Clark was hilarious.
That's my guy.
That was my dude.
Yeah. That's still my guy. Yep. So, but yeah, within that time frame, starting off in college, undecided. You know, the high school I went to, which was Fairleigh High School, and where I'm from, Memphis, Tennessee, academically, it was one of the lowest academic schools within the region, and I believe within the nation at a point in time.
Yeah.
Right. They had a whole charter system come out there and, you know, change things around, and now they're doing amazing. You know, from my viewpoint, from where I started. But it's an amazing, you know, school, of course. But that's where I graduated from. So, you know, in college, I started off undecided. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I had this drive to work out, like consistently. Yeah. And this started, you know, when I was in high school, when I started to play sports. Football was the first sport I played, and I didn't start sports till I was like 14, 15, but wanted to when I was younger, but had allergies. So my grandmother just wasn't comfortable with me just, you know, playing contact sports. Yeah. Being allergic to grass and weeds, and I'm that weird guy, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all are to a degree, yeah.
Yeah, to a degree. So, you know, I was just passionate about exercise, man. I was an overweight kid. Like, I was always in the house playing the game, eating food.
Oh, we'll touch on that,
you know
too.
What I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, exercise was something that it just came natural to me.
And it transformed your life.
Yeah, it transformed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that all balled up into, like, this guy's a fitness coach. He got his exercise science degree from MTSU, and he hit the ground running and started working with people in the community to help them reach their goals.
Love it, dude. Yep. Well, it's great to see, man. You know, I've watched you start here, and I've seen your clientele build, and you're just getting busier and busier. I'm trying to figure out when to squeeze my workout in. Yeah. I'm like, this dude's in here all the damn time. Yeah. But I love to see it, man. I love to see others around me succeed. So that's awesome, man. You just keep crushing it, bro.
I appreciate it.
And I like the way what you said, you personalize things for people. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's one of my biggest gripes with the fitness industry is that they want to cookie cutter things for everybody. Right. You know, you get people with hundreds of thousands of followers, more than that sometimes, that are like, this is what I do this. And it's like, not everything... That doesn't work for everybody. You know, we discussed this, so I appreciate that about you. Mm-hmm. Okay, but before we take it back, you just had a competition in Charleston, right?
I did, yep.
How'd that go?
It went amazing.
Powerlifting, right?
Powerlifting.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So I've been powerlifting for about 4 years now. Nationals, which is the powerlifting meet I just did this past weekend. I personally believe it was my best meet yet. Nice. It's the most numbers I've ever hit on squat, bench, and deadlift, the most confident I felt. As a coach, you know, as, you know, someone who's competing at a high level, it was the most confident I've ever felt. Even, you know, struggling with the injury the week of, an adductor injury, just having discomfort, but I was able to push through, man.
Good shit.
Yeah. Number-wise, I opened up about 407. So 3 months ago, I did the same thing, but this time it just moved a whole lot smoother.
On what?
On squat.
Okay.
Yep. So with powerlifting, there are 3 big lifts: squat, bench, and deadlifts. And at the meet, you have 3 attempts to do as heavy as possible in each lift in order to get an overall total for each lift for the meet. So yeah, that second squat was about 418, man. That was the heaviest that I've ever completed on the platform within my last 4 years of powerlifting. My third lift, I went as heavy as I have on the platform, 429, and failed. Yeah. I felt good about it, though, you know, because like I said, I was struggling with an injury with my adductor, and I'm doing squats. So
you already exceeded your expectations,
I've
too.
Already exceeded my expectations.
At this point, it's like, let's fucking go for it.
It made me feel good. Yeah. It definitely made me feel good. Bench press was next, man. Opened up at 303, same as last meet 3 months ago. It moved real smooth, but they didn't count it because they said my butt moved. So it was just, you know, that thing. Opened up 308. Second lift was 308. Hit that smooth. 2 white lights, 1 red. And then that third lift, man, I attempted 314. This was like, I've attempted this lift on the platform 3 times. Yeah. And failed every time, you know. But this time I actually was able to complete the lift, and they didn't give it to me because they said I jumped the command. So man. I was definitely with the refs on that, you know, consistently trying to figure out what can we do to, you know, change that, but it wasn't.
Damn,
man. So
hey,
yeah,
you still performed, man.
Still performed.
Good stuff, dude.
And then deadlifts, man. I did first First lift I did 512. Second lift I did 518, and the last one I did 523.
Nice, bro.
0.6 pounds, man. It was all those lifts was heavier, that I've done in my life. The heaviest lifts I've done in my life, all back to back. Like, it's crazy.
Crushed it, man.
You just go out there and you just do it. You just, and you crush it.
Nice, man. I love to hear it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, proud of you, bro. When's the next one?
Well, I don't know when the next one is. To be honest, my sister, Trina Holbrook, she competed with me in nationals this past weekend, and quite amazingly, like, she's amazing. She did an amazing job in the meet too. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was trying to see where I was getting with that one.
Hey, she crushed it.
Yeah, she crushed it. Yeah, she crushed it. And, man, it just, she inspired me. That's what it was. She inspired me because I was trying to figure out the last two meets. I be having a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to be honest, man. I lose my train of thought sometimes.
It happens.
Yeah, man, she inspired me to do the last two meets that we did this year.
Nice.
If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have done them. I knew I wanted to do another one, but you know how somebody just kind of give you that, you should.
Extra fire.
Yeah, that extra fire. And I had all this other stuff going on, training and moving to different gyms and working overnight and doing all these different things. So I wasn't really thinking about it. So she definitely encouraged me to do it. So when the next one is, I'm not sure. I have to put a date on it. But I know, this week I'm just taking time off to not work out. I feel like I just, you do something so much. Like, I've done this since I was 14, like, religiously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not somebody that takes time off. I don't, really believe in it. When it comes to pushing yourself on a day-to-day basis, we're not talking about work, showing up to somebody else's job. We're talking about just yourself.
Just overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't take any time off.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dudes like us need to. Yeah. Or it takes a toll. It slaps us in the face, and we're like, shit, we need to take some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I push myself in that direction too, man. It takes, people will tell me all day, like, Joe, just take a break, take it, slow down. And I'm like, nope, and just barrel through. And then I hit the wall, and I'm like, okay, I guess I need to. After I headbutted a couple times, see if it'll come down. But
feel bad for that wall, man.
Yeah, that wall, man. I've busted through several walls, but I've started to learn how to go around walls.
Okay.
Find another way, because sometimes it's not meant for you to just bash your head over and over again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's been a tough lesson, but it's good for you. Mm-hmm. Anyways, well, good to know, man. Thanks for that.
Yep.
Now, take us back, Wesley. We want the audience to get to know you a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
So take us back to your early years, back to Memphis, where you're from, and then kind of along the way there, man, your upbringing, where the area you grew up in, influences along the way, and, I guess things that crafted you into the man you've become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you was explaining all of that, I'm over here flashback, just kind of thinking about everything.
Yeah.
You about to be 28 in 2 days.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Big B-Day.
So many different things in 28 years of life has happened.
Yeah.
That I feel like has molded me into the man that I am today.
Yeah, for sure.
From the early years, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I was born in Methodist Hospital.
Okay.
November 14, 1996.
There you go.
I have 5 other siblings. It's myself. I got 2 or 3 older sisters. I say 2 or 3 because this one sister I'm talking about, I'm not really close with her. So I'll say I got about 3 older sisters, 2 younger sisters, and an older brother. And I'm like the middle child. Okay. Yeah. The oldest is like 38, 36, 38.
Okay.
I don't know how old my brother is. He's about 36.
It's all good.
But yeah, man, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was pretty much raised by my grandmother.
Okay.
And my uncle. My mom, of course, she had me, but I believe by the age of 4, my grandmother had full custody over myself and all my siblings.
Okay.
My brother at that time was in Florida with his dad, so it was myself and my 3 other sisters.
Okay.
And we pretty much stayed in the same house, and my grandmother, made sure we were at school. my uncle was always on the road driving trucks. That's what my uncle does.
Was your dad? Where was your dad at?
My dad, honestly, was in and out of my life.
Yeah.
I remember him the early years, right? Like, up until like, 6. As I started to get older, I noticed that he wasn't there more. Yeah. And a lot of stuff was like child support, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or he told me that his grandfather was sick. You know how you are young?
Yeah.
And somebody tell you something like that, like, got to be there for my grandfather.
Yeah.
Because he lost his mom when he was 4 years old.
Okay.
Right. So in his mind, his dad was all he had. And he always told me that.
Yeah.
Even as a kid. My mom was there. So if I'm born in 96 and if my grandmother gets full custody by the time I'm 4, early years.
Yeah.
And I noticed my mom was there, but not as much.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if I had to talk about a little bit more about how I was a kid, I was I loved to laugh. I loved to joke around. I loved to have fun, like as a kid. Like, kids to go outside, ride bikes. I remember first riding my bike. Growing up, in an area that's, as a kid, we moved around a lot. We started off, in this big house. It burned down. The sunroom burned down when I was a very young kid. My sisters and them, could definitely tell the story. But from there, I just know we bounced around, man. I was in and out of different schools.
But all around Memphis.
All around Memphis. We lived in Whitehaven. We stayed out east. We stayed in Horn Lake. We stayed in some different neighborhoods. So it was hard to make friends because I always moved around. Elementary, I was probably like 3-4 elementary schools, I think. I went to Graves Elementary, went to Oakshire, went to Cromwell, went to Holmes Road. That's 4 elementary schools.
I believe I was like 4 different from me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's hard. You never fit in, man. You're always trying to get friends and then you're gone.
Yep.
So then I don't know about you, but I was picked on a lot moving into new school. Because I'm the new guy. Like I get it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of part of it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely was bullied sporadically at a young age. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we're all kids, really, if you think about it. So it's just like, it's kind of funny that you can even put it as bullying. It's like, we're so young. It's like, do we even know what we're really doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You didn't have like a consistent bully.
Like, no, your whole time. Not like I'm waiting for you at the locker, motherfucker.
You're like, damn it, dude. This guy's going to make me like dog shit or something. It's like, you just got new bullies. So at least you get some variety.
Yeah, exactly. No, it wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, I'm going to just mess with this guy. Yeah. Just because.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I got, a lot of. I was the just because it seemed easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, as I was growing up, changing to different schools, trying to make friends, throughout that process, I feel like I really started to come into myself when I was in high school, in middle school, that time. I feel like we had just enough.
Yeah.
Not more than enough. We got a way to school. We got clothes on our backs. We got food for dinner. Yeah. That's what I feel like we had.
Yeah, what you needed.
Yeah, what we needed. The necessities. Yeah, we had the necessities. So I think it's when I really got to high school when things started to change for me. I was like the lightest kid in my high school. Like I remember freshman year, we was all just standing outside the high school, fairly just waiting to get in. And man, it was just, high school impacted me a lot. I feel like from playing sports, to, having my first girlfriends, to, man.
When did you start getting into the sports? Like, so that, because I played sports my whole life, but high school was a big shift for me too. Like, I moved right after my freshman year to North Carolina.
Right.
And then, I like grew a shit ton. So and I was a new guy, but I was also like big dude, football player and stuff. So I was like picking up chicks and, it was like a big shift. It was totally different than like the rest of my childhood. Right.
Right.
So that's similar for me as well. Did you just hit your spurt, I guess, going into high school?
Yeah, man. I started to have a sense of identity.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, my grandmother raised me pretty much. My uncle was always gone. My mom was there, but my grandmother was like the enforcer.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Grandmother's the enforcer. So it got to a point where it's like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I didn't even want to. It got to the point where when I went to Fairleigh, you know, my other siblings went to Whitehaven.
Yeah.
My little sister went to Fairleigh, and my oldest sister had went to Fairleigh at a point in time, but she went back out east. So at that point, when I went to Fairleigh, and it was freshman year, my grandmother's talking like, nah, we finna go to Whitehaven. I'm tired of dropping you off at school. So I was like, nah, I want to stay here. I said, I'll take the bus. I was willing to stay there, play football, keep my friends that I had, you know, just to, I guess, finally find somewhere where I could fit in and grow it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like from that time, when I started playing sports when I was 14, football being the first sport I played, like I said, I was, you know, heavier as a kid. So all up until the point of, you know, about 9th, 10th grade is when I really started to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean heavy? You're just a big boy?
Yeah, I was about 215 pounds,
Dang.
5'6", at
Dang.
about 12, 11 years old. Yeah.
It's a big old boy.
A big old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you're playing video games and eating?
Playing video games and eating. That's it.
Yeah.
I couldn't play sports, but I was outside and active and stuff, but I just sat on my ass a lot.
Yeah.
Real simple.
Of course.
I didn't work out at all other than going out, get on my bike and stuff, but if you just overeat,
Yeah, it ain't
we
gonna
ate
do much.
processed foods growing up, man. We ate from, bologna sandwiches, chips, hot dogs, chicken tenders, pizzas. I mean, we ate that stuff.
Yeah.
Debbie cakes. Lived in that stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I got into high school, like I said, having that little bit more independency, I got into football, really enjoyed it. I was out of position. I played offensive lineman, then I played defensive lineman. I was like, I want to play receiver. I want to play cornerback. I didn't know what I really wanted to play. I just knew that I enjoyed football. I played, you know, defense. I loved to hit. I was really good.
Yeah.
I was tenacious. I was driven. You know, I worked hard. I trained hard. I went to practice, went hard. It was just like I had to learn a skill that kids spend, you know, a lot of their time growing up, you know, developing this. And it was just something I just put myself into, a contact sport.
Because you wanted it.
I think that shit takes bravery.
Yeah, it does,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? To just get off your not doing nothing for 13 years and then I'm going to go play sports.
Yeah, you know, I never thought about it that way because I grew up, you know, our parents always had me in sports. I tried everything, man. I mean, we found out pretty quick basketball was not my thing. So don't ever throw me in basketball. I'm just going to shoot it right back. You know, soccer too. Yeah. But, you know, I tried everything. I played baseball, all that stuff. But football is the one thing I stuck with. Yeah. And, you know, but I played it my whole life from as young as I could. And so I never really thought about that. But, yeah, it takes some balls to, like, jump in high school. Yeah. Because most of these dudes have been playing their whole life or since very young. So they've already been seasoned. They've already practiced. They already understand the game a bit. And here you are. You're just like, I'm going to come figure this out. And I'm just going to put all my willpower into it and excel. Yeah. Good shit, man.
That's exactly what I did, man. So from freshman year into sophomore year, that's when I dropped that weight, man. It was over the summertime. So when I started playing spring ball, I knew I had to be ready for when summertime came around. So by the time summer was over, I had dropped like 30 pounds. I went down into the like 180s.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I was
lean and mean.
Walking to practice every day, drinking a gallon of water, eating chicken, rice, and green peas. That's all my grandma would make.
The crush from the year before, she's just like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. And that was like around the time that I got my first girlfriend. My first girlfriend. And that was definitely, you know, an amazing relationship. I learned a lot about myself, you know, at that young age. Learned a lot about, you know, being with a girl at that young age. And throughout high school, you know, I went from football to running track on the off season to get faster, to get a little bit more shredded.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I ran the 400-meter dash. I ran the 800-meter open. I ran the relays too, and got pretty good over the years in high school, starting from my sophomore year. And then from there was a part of the first soccer team in Fairleigh High School. That was an awesome experience. The coach at the time was Zachary Siegel, which was also a mentor and played a major impact on my life in high school. You know, he was one of those teachers that came from New York, came down south to come teach some black kids about history. And he had and honestly, he had a personality where he would respect you, but he would keep it real with you. So it was just like I think he's a Jewish white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but he was a really solid character.
Nice.
And he really cared about the students. And I saw it. And we had all different type of teachers there, you know what I mean? And the high school, even though it going through all its transitions from going through, I think 3 or 4 principals while I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, fights. I was getting in trouble, ISS, skipping school. Like my junior year, I missed a whole lot of school. You know what I'm saying? Just leaving.
You got the looking good. You got that ego built up. You're like,
football,
I'm the shit. But, you know.
Sports, girls.
High school.
Leaving.
Dude, what you do in high school, man?
Yeah, you know.
But I can connect there because, like, also when you kind of shift into, like, finding an identity, especially, like, beginning of high school, you know, you start to get attention. You're good at athletics. You got a girlfriend, all this stuff. You start to care less about the school aspect. You just want to have fun. Yeah. You're like, man, I want to enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? I'm a high school kid once.
Yeah.
So you're just doing all the shit that's like typical.
Right.
Yeah. You were a jock pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. When I think jocks, I think about the movies that I see that have like the real jocks with the Leatherman jackets. At some point we did get them Leatherman jackets come in. And again, the guys was definitely rocking the Leatherman jackets. So, but no, yeah, to your point, man, you know, just doing stuff just because. And it was easy because, like I said, the infrastructure was not solid.
Yeah.
You know, we did what the hell we wanted to do. Yeah. We went on lunch. We went in the weight room, worked out, went to lunch, 2 lunches, skipping. But I didn't realize that what I was doing to myself. I was always really an average student. I was never straight A's. My sister got straight A's and B's, you know what I'm saying? Really solid A's, you know what I'm saying? So even in high school, I was an average student at an average school. Yeah. Just really think about that. Yeah. So reading, writing, math, you know, that stuff I had to build up. So when that charter school came over system, they changed a lot academically. They brought good teachers in, you know, they had a more academically driven, you know, purposeful material that, you know, if you had the right teachers, make sure you get the chance to learn the information. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So that forced you to apply yourself a little bit more.
It forced me to apply myself a little bit more. So throughout, you know, high school, playing sports, coming into myself who I am, throughout that process, I ended up losing my mom my sophomore year.
So in high school, you know, working your way through, you're a stud, having a good time. Your mother passed away.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Man, my mom passed away February 28th of 2013. I think I had just turned 16. Damn. Yep.
It's crazy to think times because I just got back from the desert deployment at like that time in 2013. Mm-hmm. You were like, you know, high school.
High school, 16.
Yeah.
So that was my 10th grade year.
Yeah.
I had just started to get into everything I was just telling you about. Football. I was a little bit into it because I had dropped that weight, you know what I mean? So it was like that fresh year, that 10th grade year.
Yeah.
And that was also the time, you know, I had a girlfriend too. So losing my mom, she was actually someone who struggled with addiction. She struggled with you know, crack cocaine. Yeah. Also just really think about the time of the 80s. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The 90s.
It seems more like crack cocaine is more, from my understanding, seems to be more common in like inner city, and then like, you know, more rural areas you get into more like pills or like meth and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, really to the fullest extent, I know that was a thing, but I also know that she had a hard life in general. Like she was in the Army, you know, when she was younger. in her earlier 20s, and she also worked as well. My sisters know a little bit more about like where she worked, and I feel like, you know, with me losing her so young, and also telling you that I remember her being there, but not as, you know, some other mothers you may, you know, people who have other mothers that's very active in their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just knew at times over the years that I remember her sick moments. I remember her joyous moments, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, and my mother was an amazing woman. But yeah, man, that all happened at 16. And I just remember, you know, going to the funeral, of course, burying my mother. And then just from there, you know, just life continued, dude.
Did it like, so obviously it impacted you,
Yeah.
but maybe not to the level you think had she been close. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, how big of an impact did that have on you?
Now that I think about it, I think it impacted me to be driven.
Yeah.
I think it created a drive in me to where I never wanted to stop working out. I wanted to take care of my health. And it was something that I guess I used as a coping mechanism to get away from what was actually happening. But it's like I acknowledged that my mother was gone, and the pain that I felt, you know, over the years, of not even talking about just the years, just within those fresh moments, I was trying to understand.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what was really going on.
But you use it towards like positive stuff.
I used it towards positive stuff. Like I said, after it happened, I didn't go off the deep end and get in the gang, which was readily available in the area that I stayed in, right?
Probably more common.
More common, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said readily.
You're like, man, they were trying they had papers signing people up right there.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You're with us.
That's crazy. But, you know, that I could have definitely I wasn't a troublemaker, but I just got in trouble, if that makes sense. I don't know what's the difference is. You know, I just knew that I was already someone, even growing up, that was hard-headed. I didn't listen. Yeah. Like, I would do something even if I'm told not to do it. I was one of those kids. And when it happened, I just kept going. I kept playing football. I kept, you know, I tried out for track, played soccer. I, you know, got into, you know, relationships. I was still hanging out with my friends. And, of course, my friends, they're still my friends to the day, saw me in my moments of tears.
Yeah.
And drinking in high school. I remember sitting on the porch with my guy, Kenneth, and we was taking the little Jack Daniels, and I was talking to him about my mom. I was talking to my best friend's, you know, mom about my mom. You know what I mean? And she lost her sister this past year, you know, and that was his auntie. And I remember her, you know, at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just to kind of bring things back around, I know it impacted me, but I feel like I had people like, you know, Zachary Siegel come into my life as my teacher and was like, Wesley, you need to go to college. And I think that sparking that conversation gave me that drive to, well, let me see what I can get accepted to. And lo and behold, MTSU, I was able to get an early acceptance.
Nice.
MTSU with like a 2.8 or 9 GPA from high school. And, dude, I had like a 17 on the ACT. You needed a 19 to get in.
Damn.
With at least a 3.0.
Really?
I didn't even have that.
So they hooked you up.
So they hooked me up.
Nice. It worked out.
It worked out.
Yeah, man. And, you know, the perspective you had, like, you know, you didn't spiral out of control, though, and go join a gang. You know, you use that to pursue purposeful actions, right? And put more intention towards, like, you know, the athletics and school and whatnot.
Yep.
And I think that's awesome, man. I always like to reflect on, you know, death and, you know, people leaving our lives and the understanding. My belief is that we carry their spirit with us. Mm-hmm. So how we choose to do that, you know, is up to us. But, like, you carried her spirit on to be better.
My mom was the first death I experienced.
Yeah.
The first death. When I really realized that this is life and death.
Yeah.
Somebody's here and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, you just live with that. And then within that same year, we lost my auntie's daughter. She also had a condition too. She was like 18. We lost an uncle that year. So at that time, I was experiencing death at a young age, and I guess I really didn't know how it was impacting me. I just know when I showed up for school, I showed up for practice. I know whatever sport it was, I know if I had to work out to get stronger, I did that. You know, if I know I had to eat better to feel better, then I did that. And it was just something as a young man, not even 18 yet, I was molding myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't probably really realize it.
Yeah.
And when school ended and when I knew that I was going to go to college, I still spent that summer working out.
Yeah.
You know, and I just never stopped. And I still didn't even know when I went to, MTSU that I wanted to do exercise, anything related. My first major was communication. I wanted to learn how to speak to people better or listen better. Those are all these different type of classes I started to take. And I excelled in communication my first semester with a 3.6 GPA, first time ever.
Yeah.
Dude, man,
look at me.
on, man. You know what I mean?
Applying myself.
And it actually felt good, and, for my mom's death, it pushed me, it motivated me to do something with my life.
It was a spark of change.
Yeah, it was a spark of change.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's unfortunate you had to encounter like that much death at a young age. But I mean, at the end of the day, you used it and you stayed positive and you found purpose.
Yep.
And you moved forward, man. And that's really cool to hear, and I don't know. I think on that stuff a lot. I mean, better you than me. I just, as far as like the school thing going that first year, you did well. My first year of college led me to being addicted to pills, then the military and so on. I've learned a lot from that. I'm grateful for that experience. But, you took it and went somewhere with it, and I didn't even go through anything like that. I was just a lost kid, just dealing with shit in here, and I didn't really have that fire. So that's awesome that you have that, man. And you talk about the communications thing, and we'll get into the exercise stuff, but, you probably know now, through the exercise and the training people, you learn those communication skills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So you learn how to listen to people, because I have really open dialogue and close relationships with all my clients, right? We have deep conversations. I think that's one of the best parts of it. I remember learning in school not to do that, but I'm like, no, I like a personal relationship. It makes it better. It makes it better for both myself and the client, because you grow closer and you also are willing to understand each other more and truly be a part of their journey on another level, rather than just collecting a paycheck and watching them change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
I was just talking about that with a friend. It's different when you add that relationship in there.
Yeah.
That is what keeps your business going, the relationship. No relationship with your clients, they're not going to be wanting to, stay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it just depends on the person, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're going to have your ups and downs with all of them, right?
Of course,
But you're going to learn, as you grow, you create your identity. And you create that type of clientele that you connect with the best, and you're going to have those people for a while. And then when they're ready to evolve and move forward, they're going to send people your way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So are there any other first, and also props to your grandma.
All right. Shout out to Grandma, Cheryl Smith.
She put in work. She had a lot on her plate, man.
She did.
She took care of y'all.
She did.
Yeah. It's interesting because no grandmother should have to do that. You think once you're a mother, you shouldn't have to raise your grandchildren too.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter, she stepped up to the plate and did that, man. And she did the best she could.
To the time we was 18.
Yeah. Yeah. So that says a lot about her, man.
And yeah, I solely agree. It definitely does. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So so as far as high school goes, any other significant, are you ready to shift into college?
Yeah, man, like I said, it was a lot of influential people in my life in high school that motivated me, whether it was my football coach, whether it was my track coach, my soccer coach, teachers. I had people that was there in my life that also encouraged me, and I was good. Luckily, I always had a, opening ear.
Yeah.
Even though somebody will tell you something, it doesn't mean that you're going to do what they're going to tell you to do, but at least you had an opportunity to listen. So taking those downloads, it was reciprocated in a way through action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When being able to be aware of that too, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people lose sight and they think they're alone, but man, you have people there for you. And this translates to anything in life, man. There are people willing to help you and be there for you. You just got to be able to pay attention to it, you know? Because I'm wondering, like, what do you think that is the difference? What maybe did you recognize, or what's the difference between you and maybe somebody that decided to go the gang life? You know what I'm saying? Because that's two totally different paths. You know, there's points in our life where we just go one or separate ways, right? But you chose to ascend. You know, some people go down that direction, and then more chaos comes along with that.
Yep.
So what do you think, man? Like,
first thing that came to mind is a lack of guidance or the wrong guidance. Somebody can be guided. Somebody can be guided through how someone else is just living their life currently.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do to be hard.
Yeah.
Where we from, you know what I'm saying? This is what you got to do to be a part of what we got going on.
Rather than this is what you need to do to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be better.
Two different conversations.
Kind
of crazy, man. Yeah, it all comes down to the people that are in your life. I mean, I think about it with like drug addicts, right? You send someone goes to rehab, and they get out of rehab, they're clean, and then they go back home. And it's like, do you have people that are there to support you and help you be better, or are the people in your life still the ones that enable that activity? That in turn you end up right back in that rehab facility,
right?
And this is a repetitive cycle. So it's also being willing to recognize that, hey, I need to get rid of these people. And it sucks if you're in a position, like, I can't speak for everybody, because you could be in a position where your father's like in that lifestyle and he's like, come on, we got you, you know? And it's like, shit, you know, I think that could make things a little bit more difficult, or siblings or whatever. But yeah, just at the end of the day, you had the right people in your life and you were willing to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
What they said.
Yeah.
It's positive.
And also, you know, having friends, like my close friends, you know, I ain't gonna sit here and name them all. They know who they are if they watch this. But hanging out with my friends in high school that wasn't getting in trouble is probably what saved me too.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like I said, in the area that we stayed in, it wasn't like a horrible area or anything like that. I don't personally think. I think horrible is like you waking up and you can't come outside your door because there's somebody outside with a gun. That's like a scarce daily situation. It's not like that. You know what I mean? I don't want people to think every time you say you from Memphis, people just they look at you a certain way, and it's like, and it's only been like that now more recently because people just think it's such a horrible place. And it's like, I'm from that city, man. I'm born and raised. I feel like I haven't had any issues being there personally when I'm there, but I also been out of the city since I was in 2015, like consistently. So when I go back, I'm there, you know, for a breeze, and then I'm gone. But so there's other people that's living there now that's really probably going through some scarce situations
for sure.
But
well, it's like Arsenio talking about. You know, he's from Knoxville. You think in Memphis, Knoxville, like you're gonna be, oh,
yeah,
Memphis is worse. Like that's what people are gonna think, right? But he's from
places.
somewhere they called the gun zone. That's what he said, you know. And I'm like, shit, okay, Knoxville,
right?
Like there's mountains right there,
right?
you know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't think it'd be the gun zone in the mountains.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, man. And it's powerful to recognize, man. I think that's a theme we should hold on to for the rest of our lives, is recognize the people around us, man, and paying attention to them. Yeah. You know, and keeping them close or separating ourselves from the people that are only going to take us downward.
Right.
Hell yeah, man. So shifting into college. Going to college, making some good grades.
Yep.
Tell us about that journey a little bit.
College was for sure interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I remember even before starting freshman year, it was this camping trip I had with me and some of my close friends and the mentor I was telling you about. Man, we went camping the weekend before I was supposed to go to college. So as I mentioned, at this time, I'm 17 going on 18, and my grandmother wasn't going to drive me all the way to Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
Like, she's getting older at this point. You know?
Yeah.
I think at that time she's in her 60s. So she's like, no. But Zachary was willing to, you know, take us because we planned a trip, so it all worked out. I can't remember where we camped at, but man, it was a dope experience, man. In nature, and something I never did before. You know, the fellas had a great time. You know, we lived it up. started college, freshman year. I went to customs, so I, met a couple guys, what I'm saying, that I linked up with. We was cool. Stayed in freshman dorms. I was an undecided, student. So, man, I was taking those introductory classes. So I was taking I had to take a writing class. I had to take a history. I had to take a science. I had to take a math. I don't think it was a science. I think it was a math, though.
Yeah.
So I had to take these introduction classes my freshman year because of my grades.
Yeah.
So that was freshman year. I remember taking reading class. And that first semester was definitely, man, it was an impactful first semester because I believe at that same time I was on a spiritual journey with God. And the spiritual journey with God, also losing my mother a couple years prior, because I went to school in 2015. I graduated high school and went to college that fall. So, yeah, that was 2 years apart.
Okay.
So at this time, I'm on this journey with God. Started going to this church called Bethel. I met a guy named, Jared Green on campus, man. He impacted my life. My freshman year, I think he was a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys too, and he's doing amazingly well. I don't even know if you remember it, but he probably does.
Yeah.
But I remember freshman year, he was telling me about the church, but he got us in by playing football outside of the stew. And as we were doing that, we just started to talk about our walks with God, or that we should be on that walk with God. And then I started to have those thoughts as I was, going into 18.
Yeah.
And then I experienced my first anxiety attack, man. And I struggled with anxiety my entire first semester. I woke up every day feeling like I was about to die sometimes. It was weird, and it wasn't really until, I guess, mid freshman year. I mean, I'm taking these classes. I think I was kind of still in a relationship, with a girl that was still in high school. So I was going with that. I started meeting all these new people, these classes, walking all the way across, campus. And I don't know, I just felt anxious. Maybe I was trying to pinpoint what could have made me anxious, but anxiety, is usually like, just that fight or flight. Something is causing you to feel like you need to flee.
And things start to spiral.
Things start to spiral.
Dude, trust me, that started for me a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's tough. It's tough too.
It is.
Because your mind's just like,
man.
Yeah.
And I had never experienced nothing like it. So I was in the studio, and luckily I was with my friends. I was like, man, I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And like I had a lot of moments like that even when I was working out. I remember getting carted off in the ambulance because I had anxiety.
Damn.
Yeah, man. So I feel like from there, as freshman year was coming to an end and I was still on my spiritual walk, I was, in the Bible. I'm writing scripture. I'm interpreting scripture. I'm talking to God. I'm going to church. I'm going to Bible study. Like, I'm doing all these different things my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I definitely believe it was a great jump start to my freshman year, and also me figuring out what I wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do in my life.
Of course.
And then, of course, you have your guidance counselors who help you through those, processes of trying to figure out what route you want to take for the rest of your life, per se. So, yeah, then I go into my second semester freshman year, and I started dating again. And I also jumped into communication studies. So my second semester, freshman year, I was just learning about communication studies, man. So I studied cultural communication and nonverbal communication, listening, interviewing, all these classes that are actual tangible skills that you can use in the workforce.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting. I didn't like the long papers and the typing, but I got better.
Yeah.
I got better at typing. I got better at speaking in front of people. I got better at listening. I got better. So all these things that people say that I do well at, it's like I learned these different things, and over time I was able to allow them to develop within my character.
Yeah.
So second semester, freshman year, that whole time, as I'm going into sophomore year, I had this thought of changing my major. So I didn't even talk about exercise yet. I'm just talking about so when I got there in college, man, I worked out like every day. I was in love with the rec center.
Yeah.
Like, I think this was the most beautiful thing that I ever witnessed for working out, because the high school I went to, dude, we had rusted plates, different dumbbells, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you appreciate that too.
Yeah, you appreciate that. Yeah, man, you move those.
That's the kind of shit you want at your house,
Right,
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was just something that I had never experienced before, man. So I was in the gym. I was working out hard, man. My body was changing. I'm putting on muscle. I came into college like 165 pounds.
Yeah.
I dropped all that weight. And I went in. I just started lifting, man. I always was into watching YouTube videos, guys like, Jeff Cavalier, guys like C.T. Fletcher, guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I watched these guys, and I was just like, man, I want to, put on some size, put on some muscle on that frame. And I started to do that freshman year. So by the end of freshman year, I'm like 175. I put on 10 pounds.
Yeah.
The freshman 15, I definitely put that on.
Yeah, but in a good way.
In a good way, right. So, yeah, man, and even through that time, worked a job. I took out student loans.
Yeah.
I didn't have school paid for.
Yeah.
Racked up some student debt. But my sophomore year, man, I decided to do exercise science because it was what I was doing in the gym. I was like, communications, I'm looking at the jobs. I was like, I don't really see nothing that I can really see myself doing. So when I looked into exercise science, personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, physical therapist, cardiovascular specialist, I'm like, okay, let me look into this. And when I did that and I started taking those courses, what stood out to me was like exercise programming or techniques. And I really excelled at classes like that because I enjoyed like the structure of workouts. So that's when I really started to understand the system of how to train the body.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell in love with like, man, let me put this on paper. Let me just, stick with it. But, as I was doing that my sophomore year, as I'm working, I'm dating, I'm changing my major. Man, I lose my dad 2017.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about my dad much, right? Because he was just, he was there and he loved me, and I knew that he loved me because of how he took, how he showed love and affection in those younger years of my life. And as a man now, I can understand that, he had to pivot for himself. And and I'm not thinking about, how. Well, at the time, I'm probably thinking about how I feel, but as a man now, I'm just like, okay, I understand what my father was talking about.
Yeah.
Even though I missed out on all of that, his dad was at some point incapable of taking care of himself. So as a man, I was like, I understood that. But yeah, lost my dad 2017. Got a phone call from my grandfather. It was like, man, your dad was at the end of the steps, man. He's just unresponsive. Don't know what happened. Damn. I couldn't believe it. We drove straight to Oak Ridge.
Is that your sophomore year in college?
That was my sophomore year in college, man. I think at this time, 2017, I'm thinking I'm just turning 21. So I couldn't believe it. I remember growing a closer relationship with my dad through those years where I went to MTSU because it was closer to Oak Ridge, so I was able to come see him. Or go see him. And one time I took one of my good friends, man. We went and saw him stay the weekend. So throughout those moments of me growing older as a man, I was able to understand my father more. And I felt like I was going to really grow that relationship that I never got the chance to build as a kid. And I was excited about it. I was excited about seeing what could possibly happen. At this time, I couldn't create this vision for what I wanted to have with my mother because I was so young to where I couldn't even think about what that would look like because I'm more so concerned about like what I'm trying to do in my life. But at this time, when I lose my father, I'm starting to figure out self. I'm creating this even more of an identity than I did in high school because I'm a man now. I lose my father, and it's just like, what is God doing here? I mean, I'm not thinking about what God is doing, but it's like now I'm thinking like, what was God trying to tell me there? It was just his time.
Yeah.
But that lit a fire in me because not only did my dad not have a funeral, it was a lot of other different things that just wasn't aligned with what should have happened in regards to like my grandfather was in the military for 30 plus years. He had things that meant to him and people, it went into the wrong hands. So it was just all these other different things that, you know, it impacts you, not in that moment, but throughout time. It was just so much that was lost. I don't have anything that like really just concretes remembers my grandfather or my father, you know, in that sense. So that's heartbreaking. So throughout that time, you know, I think I got a girlfriend at that time, and, you know, cut things with my girlfriend, lost my dad. I'm just trying to make it through school. I joined Collegiate 100. Shout out to the organization. If it wasn't for the Collegiate 100 of, you know, MTSU, man, I wouldn't have gotten into the place that I am now to meet the people that I was able to meet in order to make something for myself.
So you said the MT 100 was 100? Some group that like helped you out?
Collegiate 100 mentoring organization at MTSU. Yep. It was, 2018, I believe, was when I got inducted. It was like my junior year, man. So I met, throughout that process of Collegiate 100, I met Susan Vanderbilt, who's also head of the Chamber of Commerce in Nashville.
Okay.
And also does so many illustrious things within the community and for other people. I met her. We talked for like an hour at Chop House, man, and she introduced me to Kelman Edwards Jr., who also changed my life as I knew it.
Yeah.
Yep. So lost my dad, joined the organization. I started exercise science. I started to find my passion and the route that I wanted to go. So all of these different things are going on throughout those years from 2015 to 2019.
Yeah.
And losing my dad lit a fire in me. Found out my grandfather passed away via Google because he was in the military. So I just I hadn't heard from him in like a year. Looked it up, man, said he passed away like a year after my father. So all of these different things that I'm experiencing, I just turned it into good. I had positive thoughts. I was already talking to God. I was already looking into scripture. I was already interpreting what God is, trying to reveal, through my pain.
Yeah.
I think it all just gave me a drive to keep moving forward. And in that process, Train Past Adversity 365 was born.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Yes, sir.
I love it, man. And, so it's cool. Like, it's obviously heartbreaking that you face those things, but at the end of the day, it's part of life, right? And whenever we do face those things, it's inevitable regardless, whether it's when we're young or at different stages or all at the end. Like, you never know. That's just fate plays out how it will. And, but a theme I've seen of yours is, taking it all and using it for positive. Your mother's loss and letting that spark change. And then shifting into, you're here, you are, you got the opportunity to kind of build a relationship with your father, and then he's gone. But then that lit that fire even brighter, you know what I'm saying? So you used all these circumstances to become who you are, man. I think this speaks mounds about your character.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that's great. It's unfortunate, but it's also positive.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is I think the key is finding gratitude in everything.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it is, you can find gratitude in whatever it is. You just got to be willing to see it. And when you can do that, you'll transform your life.
Yeah.
Amen. Hell yeah, dude.
Transform your life.
Transform it.
And man, for some reason, that 2017 to 2019 is like a blur. Because I just remember, not only did I lose my dad, and I was spending time trying to join an organization, which took time, working, internship, coming up in senior year.
Okay.
I lose my car. If it wasn't for my sister, they let me use her car for 6 months, I wouldn't have graduated because I needed that internship to drive all the way to Franklin D1.
Yeah.
4:00 in the morning, to be at my internship and then get off and go to work. This is my senior year. I'm already in collegiate. I've already built the relationship with Kelvin Edwards Jr. at the time. So
Santi? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Santi's my boy, man. I've known him for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Santi's a dope coach.
He comes and borrows that sled for the Special Olympics.
Really?
So every time it's gone, it's because I'm letting them use it for an event.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Santi's dope. I figured because he was at D1 Franklin for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely mentored me throughout that process.
Solid dude.
Yeah, solid dude, man.
Yeah.
So, with all of that happen, I meet Kelman. Susan Vanderbilt introduced me to him, so I went over there to Champion Tone Fitness. So Kelman Edwards Jr. at the time, 2017, I think he started in 2014, Champion Tone Fitness. So it was in the community for a couple years, and a lot of people knew him. I went over there first time meeting him. It was just an instant connection. I just feel like he understood me and he didn't even know me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we worked out together. So when we first worked out together, I'm coming in as like a mentor and looking for an internship, right? At the time, exercise science, I know I got to get experience in the field. So I'm like, let me start here. Started there. And that first workout, man, I pulled 450 on the deadlift, first time ever. The most horriblest form you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
But I did it. But it was after a workout that he put together, and he encouraged me to do it. It was like, me and Chris, his client at the time, was like, we usually do this after a workout. We just trying to push ourselves to see what we can do, and we did that. And he was just like, I gained his respect that day.
Yeah,
when he could see that I was somebody who was looking to be a trainer or a coach, and I could keep up with somebody that was extremely in shape.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And you're also game.
And I'm also what?
You were also game. To get after it.
Yeah, I was getting after it. Yeah. I was game. Yeah.
Oh, you're also game.
No. I thought you said. I was just trying to figure out what you said. But no, game. Yeah, I was definitely game, man. I was definitely game.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I started to mentor there, man. And I was coming early in the morning to watch him train. He do his classes or watch him in one-on-one sessions. And then from there, I just kind of learned more about the business side of how he runs his personal training business. He had a facility, he had clients, he was making money from it. So I was interested in that, of course. So in that same time, I had somebody at the rec center ask me, hey, bro, I think it was a girl. She was like, it was a girl. She was like, I had just got done running upstairs. She was just like, are you a trainer? I was like, no, I'm not a trainer. She was like, you should look into personal trainer because, like, I usually see you working out and stuff, and you usually know what you're doing. So from there, I started training at the rec center. So I had to go low key. I started training out of apartments. Apartments put me on. It was just like, hey, we want you to be the trainer here. So I started, at the V Apartments at the time, and I was training out of apartments. All at the same time, I started training at Champion Tone Fitness, my actual clients, I believe, at the beginning of 2018. I remember Joshua Smith, one of my first clients. Timmy Edmond was one of my first clients when I worked at Olympus behind the desk.
Yeah.
Yep. I worked at Olympus behind the desk. I met him, so I started training him. This is when I was like, man, I'm going to build a program. So I built my first program for somebody. I still got the spreadsheet. You know what I'm saying? Joshua Smith, Trisha King. These was like some of my first people that I started to train. And from there, training turned into not only just training, but it turned into actual business because I was making money from this, along with still in school, working, internship, college, all these different things.
Yeah.
But in the year, your senior year, you're really just doing an internship or something. So I was really just doing that, working and training. So that's what I was doing. So I think at that time, even on the way to the internship, I was using my sister's car. Keep that in mind. So I had all this adversity throughout college. Adversity is what fueled me, and this is where I get into the part where I talk about Train Past Adversity 365, which is my training business. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I read books like Napoleon Hill, Think and Go Rich. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Like, I was reading books about people who were some of the most successful people and the strategies they took in order to persevere through adversity. A lot of these people witnessed adversity in their younger years, even if they couldn't get a job opportunity, and they kept fighting until they got the job.
Yeah.
And that's what I found very amazing about some of the most successful people that live this earth, like Andrew Carnegie, J.D. Rockefeller, you got, steel, oil, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was learning these different things. And I was just like, man, I want to start a business. All in a while, I'm talking to God. All in a while, I'm learning about manifestation, right? Numerology, synchronicities. I'm seeing all these numbers, Kelman on all that stuff. So we link up. We talk about all this stuff. We getting real deep. But also the people you surround yourself around is who you would be like. And that he was like the perfect character to come into my life at the right time with the transition that I was about to embark on.
Yeah.
Leaving college, complete adult, don't have my parents there. My grandmother's always in Memphis. My uncle's always on the road. Dude, it's just me.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, even in relationships, and you're trying to find that love and everything. Like, I went through those things too, consistently. Even at this point now, 27 up until this age, all of it, impacted me in a way to where I wanted to gain something from all of this adversity, which is why I started Train Past Adversity, because I wanted to train people. I wanted to overcome the adversity that I was dealing with through training. I found it purposeful because I had already started training. I just needed to start a business. Train Past Adversity was born, man. I remember having a dream about what the logo looked like. It was like a download, dude. It was like this train track.
Yeah.
It was past was like the I. It was like I saw this vision, and then adversity was the world.
Hell yeah.
It was something that I knew that other people could resonate with, because adversity is something that we all have in common. And adversity, my slogan is, adversity is just another pathway to success.
Yeah.
Because, man, if you are also a believer of the law of attraction, manifestation, man, and you take the time out to envision where you want to be, and you also have people in your circle that can encourage you to move in that direction. And of course, you got God first and foremost, man. The universe, the law is just taking you everywhere you want to go. So me writing, me talking to God, me interpreting scripture, me building the connections, all balled up into me starting a sole proprietorship, Train Past Adversity. And I started to bring in more clients. At this time, 2018, 2019, I'm finishing up my internship. I started taking on more clients, graduate college, and from that point, I am into the work field.
Yeah.
I'm on my own.
Doing your thing.
I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, man. And I love that, dude. It's something that's been the key component of my life too, is just that keep moving forward. Train past adversity. Don't stop at all costs. Like, that's, people wonder what, you got all these entrepreneurs and people want to try to dissect it and be like, man, well, they did this, this, and this. And it's really, they just had the drive to move forward no matter what.
Yeah.
Because most of these people that are at such a level of success have faced mounds of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
But those kinds of people use that as an opportunity to keep going forward.
Yep.
It only makes you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And if you crash and burn, guess what? You get to start from as a whole new person, right? At least you get to start from somewhere that you grew into, and you can keep going.
Yep.
Like, that crashing and burning isn't, that's not failure. Yep. The only way to fail is to quit, 100%.
100%.
That's the only failure in my books.
I got another one.
Yeah, what's that?
For not doing it.
Not doing it.
Yep, just not doing it.
Yeah.
That's a failure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Facts, man. Well, so we got two.
All
right. So failure is quitting and not starting.
That's it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We'll narrow it down to those two, man. You said something else too. I wanted to bring up. It'll come back, man. Okay. But I just love, I love that you're growing along this journey, and you're just embracing adversity for what it is. And like, that's building character. That's building strength.
Yes, sir.
That's creating you into who you're supposed to be. And I think that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can teach people. Like, there's not a huge strategy about mindset, man. Mm-hmm. It's about like just flipping that switch and re-gearing how you think about stuff like that. And that's what's going to take you to a whole nother level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And believe it or not, I feel like it shouldn't be a test to pass like a mindset test. I feel like it's either in you or it's not.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like at this point, I feel like my goal would be or I feel like I personally already am. I need to figure out the certification or whatever I need to hold. But like mindset coach, I feel like I'm a mindset coach because I feel like with the adversity I've experienced, and of course I still have life to live as I'm, blessed with that life. But as I wake up every day and just choose life, that's a mindset you have to have.
Yeah.
You can have something, but it can be easily taken away from you.
Facts.
I have the mindset to continue to show up for not only myself, but the people that I'm working with, the people that I'm working towards changing their lives on a day-to-day basis, not just in the gym, but through conversation.
Yeah.
Making sure that they're good, making sure that they have all the things that they need necessary in order to succeed.
Exactly, man.
But that's why it's important for even mindset coaches to have mentors and coaches, because we need to learn from somebody too.
Yeah. I mean, the best always have had a mentor or a coach. That's the whole thing. And it's like you said too, working towards it. Yeah. You talked about manifestation. I believe in that, but like that takes action.
Yeah.
Anybody can sit here and daydream about what they want. Hell, I remember daydreaming when I was the first time I went to college, and I was on pills and shit, and I was sitting in my art class like, dude, what would I do if I won the lottery? Anybody can do that. That's not shit, man. Like if you envision a certain life, that can become a reality, but you got to put action towards it, man.
Yeah.
It's all about that action. It's all about taking those steps and moving towards that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to make choices along the way, and it's not going to be straight shot, man. It's going to be back, forward. It's going to be all different kinds of directions, but you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been that way.
And you got to love that shit. Like, I love it, man.
I've gotten to that point where I'm like, okay, another challenge. Yeah, I've definitely faced some challenges this year too, just alone.
Yeah. Just
this year, the last 2 years has been even more challenging than, I wouldn't say losing people in your life that, impact you, of course, but it's been a challenging 2 years.
Yeah.
To get to where I am now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good feeling though.
Yeah, man. And that's a positive feeling. I mean, of course you're going to sit there and have those moments. I mean, there's moments I've sat there, I'm like, when can I just get some kind of break,
Yeah.
But it's like that feeling that's fleeting. Like I do that and then I'm like, fuck it, let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And it'll come, man. You just got to believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to believe in yourself ultimately.
Yeah.
And you do that, man. And, obviously we don't got too much time left. I know you got things to do, and we're going to do this again, man.
Yeah,
Cause
definitely do this
I want to dive into a lot of this stuff,
Okay.
like this kind of conversation and the spiritual walk and all that stuff. Cause you and I have spoken, in the gym and in passing just about bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
And I love having those kinds of deep conversations and picking people's minds about their thoughts on this or that and the other.
Yeah.
But as you're going through all this, I know you mentioned Kelman, right?
Yep.
Is his name. And I've heard of him. I think I'd seen Champion Tone on social media and stuff. I don't think I ever met the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever met the guy. I didn't really hear about him until, he passed away.
Right.
Obviously y'all were really close. And you kind of built your business within his, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about like his loss and like the effect it had on you?
Major loss, man. I was, from the time I graduated MTSU in 2019 in the fall, all in the while when COVID happened, I was a health coach as well for a company called ShareCare for about 7 months, but I was contracted, so I wasn't even hired on yet. So when I made that decision, man, to go full time, I did that. I had about 8 racks saved up. I was ready to go. And then from there, man, like I said, I was already gaining more clientele over the years, changing people's lives, helping people really get results, man.
Mm-hmm.
And also just learning more as a, personal trainer at the time, learning more about training myself, learning more about training my clients. But then, in that process, the impact Kelman had was the infrastructure of what starting a personal training business would look like. He gave me the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like, from what you should charge to how you should do the sessions to how you should do per session to how you should, think about the, the workouts, the meal plan. He gave me his viewpoint on how he did things. And then from there, I just created my own blueprint on how I wanted to do things. And we was able to do that. And in that process, over the 5 years I was in that gym, not only did I do all the things that I mentioned of, but I built some great relationships, not only with, him, that mentorship turned into a brotherhood. Like, he supported me. I remember I was having some financial issues and I couldn't pay for my car note, bro. He gave me $400 cash in an envelope, and I was just like, bro, why you? I didn't even ask my people for $400.
But you're just looking out for you.
Just looking out for me. And I've always been self-sufficient ever since I've gotten on my own. You know, when I came out here, man, I don't really ask anybody for anything, dude. I get it on my own.
Yeah.
You know, and he's the same type of person. So when I was just being vulnerable with him, just letting him know different things I got going on. This was actually before, this was before I even graduated college. This is when I was in his apprenticeship. Yeah. So this was like very early on. So he didn't even really know me like that. Damn. You know? So, you know, with all of that, just being able to have a place in the community to where I could showcase my ability as a trainer meant everything to me.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was able to do that for me, I'm nothing but thankful for it.
Well, it teaches you selflessness too, man.
Yeah.
Doing something for somebody, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
And you know, throughout this time, I remember, you know, when COVID happened, I remember this guy being up like early morning, you know, late nights, making sandbags, sending them across to people on Facebook to make extra money because like we was on lockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
People wasn't training, like money was slow. So he was just doing all these different things to, you know, stay ahead of the game. And I was learning all of these different things from him and that I took in over the years. So if you think about somebody who leaves a full-time job straight out of college, you're still trying to figure out what you want to do, because I really thought I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. And I consider myself to be a strength and conditioning coach, just not in a sector. I do it on my own, right, for my own expertise. And I thought I wanted to take that route, but he showed me something different. I started to not only see the value of having your own time, which is something that I manifested, something that I prayed to God for, something that I envisioned for myself. I was able to create that. But also in the process, the money was good.
Yeah.
I've been working since I was 13. I remember buying my first phone, buying my first pair of J's.
Yeah.
I did that for myself, you know. So to see how lucrative it was, to see that I was actually being an impact and I was only getting better and still am getting better.
Yeah.
I just kind of ran with it. So it went from a sole proprietorship, Train Past Adversity 365 to Roto Solution LLC in 2021. So I actually started an LLC that's called Reach One, Teach One LLC.
Nice.
Train Past Adversity is done as a DBA under my LLC.
Okay.
So this is the moving, in-person, physical form trainer, Train Past Adversity.
I like it.
Reach One, Teach One is the online fitness coach.
Dope.
That provides the information that you need in order to get in the best shape of your life.
Good shit, dude.
Yep.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
I love that, dude. Well, that's a powerful journey.
Yeah.
That's a powerful journey,
and I'm still walking.
You're still walking, bro.
Man.
You're still walking, man. And, you know, and then all that led you here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
man.
here with Joe Adams now, baby.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Hey, man, I'm glad to have you here, bro. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, I'm all over the place, but every time we do connect, it's solid.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for your company and now learning your story, or at least a good bit of it.
Yeah.
You know, I understand you better, and that just makes it more impactful, makes that bond more powerful too. So I got your back, man, any way I can. So
appreciate you.
I'm always here to support you. Mm-hmm. You know, I know we got a few minutes left on this segment.
Yeah.
I would say let's do another one, but I know, you know, we're already past the time you were trying to get out. So let's circle back around, you know, here soon. Yep. I mean, you're here every day, so we'll make this happen. We'll knock it out. I do want to ask, is there anything else you want to touch on before I ask you my final question?
Man, as human beings, we're probably some of the most powerful creatures you've ever come into contact with. If we think about human beings, we all have something special. If we decide that we have something special, it's up to you to figure out how you're special. It's nobody else's job. As human beings, we can push ourselves to do things that is unimaginable, but it's through the law, it's through God that all these things are made possible. You don't have to show up to church every day. You don't have to be this perfect person that everybody idolizes. You just have to be yourself. You got to continue to show up for you, regardless of who's watching. That's it.
Amen, dude.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
That was from the heart, for real, for real.
Yeah, man. Oh, really? You didn't script that?
No.
You
I'm
didn't write
really
that?
just sitting here, just blanking out, man. Like that's what people really need to hear, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a book. It's probably a book that could tell you all these great things, but life, the experience of life, man, is going to show you all of these things.
Experience is the greatest teacher, man. You got to just embrace it all for what it is, dude. The ups and downs, all the in-betweens, man.
Yeah.
It's all about the freaking journey.
Yeah.
Yep. And you transform through that and you grow through that.
Yep.
So thank you for that nugget, man. I've got to make a clip of that.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you before we close out, in both your professional and your personal life, or just in one answer, what is your relentless pursuit?
Whoa.
So I ask everybody.
Man, can you give me an example?
It can be anything, man, and it can evolve too.
Okay.
When someone asks about like my business, what's my relentless pursuit, man? Impact.
Yeah.
And the bigger the impact, the better. That's what this is all about. Personally, I can dive into that. It might take me a minute, but I think, just give your best answer now, and whatever you feel is in your heart. I mean, you obviously came up with that last bit.
Right. This shouldn't be too hard, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be bad.
Man, everything that I stand for, man, adversity. My relentless pursuit is adversity, because we're going to continue to experience it. As we continue to live life, we're going to continue to lose people, some of the closest people to us. We're going to continue to have life-altering experiences that will impact us even more than what it's doing right now. But it's going to be up to you to continue to move forward. Yeah. Or might as well dig yourself a grave.
Comfort to slow death.
Yeah.
Facts, man.
If you can't deal with it head on, just going to keep running. Yeah. You're going to keep not living. And I'm not trying to be on this earth one life that we've been so gracefully able to have.
Amen, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk that all the time, man.
So gracefully to have, man. It's people that's not even waking up. It's people that wish they could sleep but have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
But if you can go to sleep at night, man, and you can wake up in the morning with all your abilities, that is God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Dude. I mean, nail on the head. That was perfect. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I align with that 100%, man. We got this one experience. We got to maximize it. There's a purpose here.
Yeah.
We're all not just supposed to be here floating around getting comfortable. We got to maximize this experience to the best of our ability.
Right.
And it can all be taken tomorrow, man. Much like the flood victims, dude.
Man.
Lost everything.
You saw it all.
Yep. And I'm still going back out there. And it's just like you see what people go through, man. And that could be any of us. So we got to maximize all of our time.
Yeah.
That said, dude, I want to carry on and on and on. So we definitely need another recording.
Yeah.
But Wesley, man, I really appreciate you coming in, taking the time. It was an honor having you on here, bro.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah,
It was an
buddy.
honor to be on here.
Hey,
I appreciate you.
Looking forward to seeing you grow. Looking forward to growing together and making an impact, dude. We're gonna crush it.
Yep.
All right, man. Hey,
y'all
y'all take care.
Peace.